How's it going, everyone? And welcome to the Intro to SQL course here by Data Frenchie. What we have right here is the BigQuery Studio. I'm going to leave the link down in the description so you can know where to get this from because we'll be using BigQuery for our SQL database. And the steps I'm going to show here is how to get it all set up, get the data in there so we can use it for our future course here. Right now, I'm logged into an email address. You're going to need a Gmail account for this. And I'm in the BigQuery Studio, as I mentioned before. And what we have to do first is we have to select a project. And if you're like me and we just started out, we don't have a project yet. So we'll have to create one. So let's go to select a project and we can do new project. And what do we want to call it? Let's just call this one intro to SQL. Let's call it that. And for location, we don't have that one, so we'll leave as no organization since we're just using this on our own. And let's click create. Okay, cool. So I have everything all set up here with my intro to SQL. And like I said, there's a bit going on here. We could kind of just exit out of all this. And one thing to also realize is I have Sandbox right here because with Google BigQuery, since it's a cloud server, um, biggest thing about that is you'll need some kind of billing or a credit card to get set up. However, as Google BigQuery does it, there's a free trial in the beginning, so everything you do will not even count. And even if there was billing on there, you would not meet the $300 threshold because of the queries running are so small. But there is a way to get out of that all completely and get into Sandbox, which no matter what, nothing will be attached to your billing. I'll make sure to leave a link down in the description on how to get to that point because that's a very, very important thing because you're able to query and do your work without having to worry about any billing. But the biggest thing about Sandbox is after 90 days, any databases you have will get removed. So you'll kind of have to start over again and whatnot. Okay, so what we got here is our screen. So what I want to do now is I want to create my data set. I want to create my database and get this going. So I'm going to go over here to the plus sign with plus add. And I get over here is, okay, there's a bunch of stuff going on. Sources, like basically we have to tell Google where's this coming from. And this is coming from Google Drive because this is the data set was on a Google Sheets platform. Coming from Google Drive is what we want. Now, from here, there's a few options. Like I said before, this data set for this course is on a Google Sheet. All we have to do is bring in the URL for that sheet. So we're going to create table from. We have driver here, so make sure we're good. And let's go over here to the data. All we do is copy link. Drop that right here. And file format, it's going to be a Google Sheet. And then the sheet range. So if we want to go over here to the question sign, just know where it's coming from. It indicates which sheet and cell range that the spreadsheet wants to create a table from. Because this would be very important. Like, for example, let's say I want to bring in part of the sheet. In this case, we want the entire thing. So what is the sheet title and what is the range? So let's go back to our sheet. The name is dataset, and we want to bring in everything from A to L. So let's do that right here. You're also going to see how that gets typed in right there. So let's type in data set A to L. Cool. And now for this, for data set, we're going to do create new data set. And what's the ID going to be? Let's just call this one SQL course. And we create our data set there. Oh, only letters. Let's get that out of there. We'll hyphen out. It's just SQL course written out like that. Okay, all good. And then table, let's just call this one, let's go just call it data. Nice and easy. And then now let's go down a little bit more, go to advanced options and header rows to skip. Let's just do 1. And then for schema, let's do auto detect. Got 1. Let's create our table and see what we get. Okay, so right here, looking at what we got going on, we have right here our SQL course, which is the database, and our data set is called data right here. And we can see right here, make sure everything looks all okay. We have our column names right here. We have the type of data, and that looks good to me so far. And all we have to do really quickly to make sure that everything is coming in all good, let me get this out of the way, is I want to go to query. Let's do query in a new tab. And what it does right away is that it basically does select from, and it'll be the entire database and data set that we're doing it from, limit 1,000. But one thing I want to do here is do the star symbol. And I know it's not the best etiquette to do that, but we're just testing it out to see what comes up. And let's just run this and see what we get. Okay, so we got everything we got right here. Let me pull this up a little more, pull this out, and there we go. We have our whole entire data set here with the ID, customer name, sentiment, all the good stuff. And we are ready to go. We have everything that we need. Like I said, in the next video, we will definitely get started on how to query from this, starting with our select statements. And I look forward to seeing you on that video.